Good morning. This is Ogle's Fish Room. How are you doing today? I hope good. This is my 75. It's got a bit of tannic acid in it, as you can see why. I've got some massive pieces of wood in here. Actually, it's an entire root that has. Let's see if I can show you. There's a root sticking out of the top. I've got a cross beam in this because it is a 75, so I could not get that piece in the water. So I turned it upside down. It has two branches, so one branch went on each side of the cross beam holding the tank together. And it actually worked out great because the weight of the root, even though these were in a huge iguana tank at one time, years ago, had my huge iguana. Anyway, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Just to give you some perspective, that piece of rock right there is like 12 inches by 10. It is huge. So are some of the other ones in here. So I know it's a little hard to get that perspective sometimes, but these are giant river rocks. The other ones are not. The first two are not, but they're being held up with some river rocks, and that's a rather large river rock there. Anyway, these the fish in front of you are the black skirt tetras. There's a white skirt tetra. I've had these, I swear, it seems like 10 years. Most people would say they don't even live that long, but these are going to be the biggest. I'm still trying to give you some size perspective here. These are the biggest skirt tetras you've ever seen. They are just massive. There's some more over here. I've got about 20. I've got about 10 white and 10 black. You can see them both together there. One of the reasons I'm doing this video today is because I've added I ran across some giant Java fern mats at the grocery store. The pet store. Must be thinking about going to the grocery store today. Anyway, these things are monstrous. I have not seen anything that looks this good for a very long time. The pet supermarket has been getting in very small ones, and if you've been shopping lately, you should know that they are very expensive, like 20 bucks. So I'm not paying that for something 6 inches high or less. Because as I said, the mat is actually behind this rock. So this tank is 25 inches high. This is a 75 tall, not a long. It's 36 inches wide, 25 inches tall, 18 inches deep. So if you can get a grasp on how tall that is, I mean, it's coming within 6 inches of the top. So anyway, got one there, got one over here, and my Anubias I moved from the back to the front. It's been glued onto a rock, if you can see that. There you go. I'm trying to see who that is. Oh, Farewella here, and some coolie loaches. He stays at the bottom. He's pretty good size. He's about 6 inches there. I like him. Can't seem to find another one, but ran across him at the pet store and haven't seen any more since. Anyway, we've got, I had my eye on him a second ago. There he is. Siamese algae eaters. We have several in there. We have Buenos Aires tetras that scoot around. Those two right here in the front are the filamatosa barbs. The one is a little deformed there. She's got a squished mouth and a squished tail. And one of the girls at the pet store had those and was breaking down her big tank and asked me if I wanted those as well as, and I don't see them right now, a pair of, sorry, still trying to see them. They're fast. And I put them in, and anyway, she was breaking down her tank, wanted to know if I'd like them, and I said yes. And never had them before. They are quite large, and she was concerned about. She said, "Well, Female has a little bit of a deformity, and I said, "Is she eating?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I've had it for years." And I said, "Well, I don't care what she looks like, as long as she's eating. It means she's healthy, and her mouth must work to some degree." And it does. When I just got through feeding these things, and she's like, a jet in there, woo woo, back forth, back forth, back forth. Man, she does not stop eating. Uh, so she doesn't let her pinched tail or pinched mouth get in her way. I am trying to find, before I move on from this tank, I'm trying to find my two. There's one. Where? There. Okay. Rainbow cichlids. He's a little camera shy. How the hell he knows I've got the camera, I don't know. Anyway, there he is. Now there's a female in here as well, but I just don't happen to see her right now. He's hiding in the back there. As you can see, we've got a lot of shelter. Buenos Aires tetras. They are all moving around today. I tell you, no, that's not. Okay, there's a Buenos Aires tetra there. Got some red and black on them. Here's a big one right there. They get pretty big. Well, I'm not seeing. There he is. Okay, I was going to say I'm not seeing my Congos today. Congo tetras. There's the male. I've got a few of those in here, but there's a group back there. They kind of hide out in the back. Well, at least when I'm up in their face, they do. Okay, I'm going to move along rather quickly on the rest of this. I did a video yesterday, but I was holding my camera vertically, and it really didn't come out well. I uploaded it to YouTube anyway, but it was almost before I realized. This just seems to do better. Okay, I'm going to move along kind of quickly here. I've got 12 tanks in this room. You just saw the 75. That's my largest. Everything else are 10s and 20s. Almost everybody else has bettas. I will point it out when they don't. There he is. This is a mustard gas half moon, I believe. Betta in the back. Well, he's being a little shy today too. We also have some bumblebee gobies here. A couple. We have some coolie loaches and auto cichlids for the cleanup crew. As you can see, it's oh, well, in case you don't watch my channel and I don't make this clear, I try to. I've had better luck with the Java fern when the bigger ones make babies, because they just put off little babies right on the leaves, and once they get some roots on there, you can pull them off. And I put them in a bowl or a container, and I wait till they're big enough. And when they get a little bit taller like that, I take out a piece of rock. You should be able to see the rock there. And I glue them to the rock. And that's how they like to grow. They do not like their roots or in the substrate. Well, the roots, let me rephrase that. The roots are okay in the substrate. It's the rhizome that they don't like covered up in any way. Otherwise, they'll rot. Anyway, okay, that's a 10 column there. I really love the shape of those. I really do. It's 12 by 12 at the base, 19 and a half inches high, and it's got that includes a 2-inch lid, which I really like because I prefer submersible lights that I stick with the suction cups underneath the lids. So, of course, the light's facing down. In other words, the light's not submerged, but it can be. But anyway, I like those because they come with a controller, at least the ones I buy. And I can walk in the room and start pushing the button and turn all the lights on. And then at night, actually about 3 to 4 in the afternoon, I come in, because I get up early. So I come in and push the button for blue and turn everybody to the night mode. Okay, here's a little 5-gallon Aquarium that it's got a little scratching there, so it looks a little fuzzy. As you can see from that picture, it's not, the water's not fuzzy, it's just the glass is. Excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, the point is that I'm just trying to share some of these deals with you guys and girls. Most of my Anubias have been trimmed. Of course, I bought a bunch in the beginning, but as they grow, I trim a little, and I've just, put some on this piece of wood here. So I take them from out of the tanks and spread them around. Again, more Java fern on rocks. You can actually see one of the rocks there, that white rock, sticking out from behind the log. The cleanup crew in here is mostly, I didn't want to put any other fish because it is a small tank. It's only a 5-gallon. So it has ghost shrimp, as you should be able to see here. And there are a lot of them in there. There should be 10 to 15. And they do a fine job, I think. I'm not sure where the little girl went. That was a female betta. She's usually right up front here. I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, I think you got to look at her. Sometimes I get the little females from the store when I see them sitting in those darn bowls for 3 or 4 weeks or longer. I just feel sorry for them. As you can see, I try to make the decoration. This is spider wood, of course. And you should be able to see there's a lot of tunneling going on in here. She's getting ready to come around. There she is in the back there. I try to provide, the point I'm trying to make, there she is. I try to make it very comfortable for these bettas. I try to make it very much like their natural habitat, which is a lot of cover. That's why they don't like bright lights, because they're used to being under massive amounts of plant growth. So anyway, I do like the lights on even at night. Well, as I explained, the blue lights, of course, at night. But still, that's helping the plants. Let me just say this. Something a lot of people don't understand, because I hear a lot of people complaining or whatever, comments or whatever on YouTube about that think they know everything. About you shouldn't have lights on. I'm sorry. I disagree with that. The plants need the lights. There's a little boy up here. He's a twin tail. He is just gorgeous. I'm not overly fond of the twin tails, but his coloring is what got me. And he was a reasonable price. He'd been sitting there for a while as well. Here he comes. Look at the coloring here. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. And he's in a 10-gallon column. You can see how I've set this up. You've got the roots coming down from the Nubius. I try to provide a lot of cave structure, places for things to hide. I really believe that's important. Let me get back to the plants real quick. Something a lot of people don't seem to get, and that is plants, yes, they consume CO2, nitrates, blah, 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 and put out oxygen. But they do the opposite when the lights are off. And a lot of people don't seem to know that. They cannot photosynthesis when there's nothing to photosynthesis. When there's no light, they cannot turn the waste products into oxygen. So I'm a big believer in blue lights at night. Now, I wouldn't keep these lights on, but I want to point out something. Have you seen any algae in my tanks? None. Zippo. Nada. Okay? I don't have algae. So, there's a lot of structure in here, and a lot of plants competing with the algae, if you want to put it that way, for their nutrients. And as long as your plants, okay, I'm moving, that was another column, I'm moving over here to the 10 normal. Here's one of my most recent purchases, the little, he's a male veil tail, just what I call normal, there he is, normal, it's hard to see his coloring, he's got to get in the color for you to see it. He was a very not so pretty white on his body, and his fins were just crystal clear at the store. And he's another one that sat for the longest time because some of the workers said he looked like a Publix bag or something. Not very pretty. I put him in here, and I can't tell whether the lights brought out the blue but he's got a lot of blue in his fins, or maybe he just feels better getting out of that damn little bowl he was in for God knows how long. And if you've ever seen them come in, which I do, I go down there on the day they get fish and look at them before they even get them out of the bags. The bag's got like a tablespoon of water in it. It's absolutely ridiculous. So they can pack them so tight. But these things, anyway, I feel the same thing about these as every other animal. You should be spoiling them rotten because they've probably had a really rough beginning of their life. Anyway, he seems happy. We've got some Vallisneria here, of course, spiderwood, which I absolutely love. More in the back there. Again, caviness, places for him to hide, if he wants to get out of the light. There's plenty of places for him to do that. As you can see, he's not swimming back forth like a bored fish. He seems very happy. Now, of course, he did just get fed, so I'm happy when I get fed too. Anyway, I've used some large river rocks to push the substrate, which is always sand in my case. Up here, we've got some red dwarf lilies. I think they're technically called tiger lilies. Oh, my lights. There's one of my submersibles that has kind of popped off. I need to put that back. But I'm trying to move along here. That's a 10. Over to its right is a 2.5, believe it or not. I never thought I'd put a bed in a 2.5. But I'm going to tell you a quick story about her. She's another one that the girls were just begging me to buy because nobody seemed to want her. She's white with blue fins. Well, very pale blue. You couldn't really tell they were blue at the store. But anyway, said this kind of an emergency. I ran across this for $15. A little Aquarium 2.5. Actually, after I saw her, after I just made a decision to try to give her a home. So I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, found this little thing in the town I live in DeLand, Florida. Arranged to meet the lady, went, bought it, came home, started setting it up. Of course, I have a lot of stuff already. I can take bacteria-laden sand out of my other tanks, and as well as wood with plants on it, etc., and set this up very quickly. It's got the pump works. It is small. I agree. I put a little one of my favorite. I don't know if you can see that how that works. We won't explain that too much. Anyway, I like these. These are single-headed sponge filters. I probably explained that enough, so I won't go into that again. Anyway, long story short is, all she has for roommates in there is shrimp as well to clean up after if she makes a mess. So I built this up on each side, put the log up. As you can see, she really likes to be under there quite a bit. She seems terribly happy. But in my mind, she started to get big. And I wanted to put her in a bigger tank, but I didn't have anything available. Well, one of my oldest over here in this tank right here, one of my oldest bettas passed away. This is a few weeks back, maybe a month now. And all I had in it was 2 pleated Cory cats, which I don't seem to see right at the moment. Okay. And 2 coolie loaches and 2 auto cinchlus. Okay. So she'd been in here for a few weeks, let's say 3, and when he passed away, over to the left. And so I took her out, put her in there, and instead of acting like she liked it, she went absolutely berserko trying to kill all those other fish. I mean, the Cory cat, which is almost as big as her, she went after both of them, not just one. The coolie loaches, I mean, she was just, and I don't mean just chasing like some bettas do to show their prowess in the tank, which is very common. They are an aggressive species. But most of the time they get used to their tank mates and they're fine. She was not. I mean, she was just terrorizing these fish. And the way they were trying to get away from her, I could see she was hurting them. So I whipped her out of there real quick, put her back in this tank, and she's been happy ever since. And I say happy because you can just look at how she acts. Even though it's a terribly small tank, I wouldn't want to be in it. She seems fine. She does never swim back and forth and act like, oh my God, I'm in this little thing. She acts like she's happy as a dickens. As you can see, she's very calmly swimming around. This is what she does all day long, all night long. Well, at night she does go over to this little corner right there, and she has a rock right there that she gets between that piece of wood and that rock that you can see right there, and just snugs up, and it keeps her upright. She's right in the corner. She's kind of going around there now, but it's not time for a nap. And that's where she'll sleep. And she seems happy as a lark. And so we're leaving her there. She's happy. I'm happy that she's happy. So, okay. I'm talking too much. Let's move along here. This is another 10, but a column. We got another mustard gas betta, male, of course. The little white female was a female. I wanted to clarify that. This has coolie loaches and some shrimp. You can see the little shrimp there. For cleanup crew. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at those colors. He started out like a black, and he's kind of getting into some blue on the body. And the fins are orange and black and blue. Oh my God. And he wasn't terribly expensive. He's a, trying to remember, I want to say half moon. No, he's a delta tail. At my store anyway, they're about $11 to $13. I believe it was called a Super Delta mustard gas. But beautiful. Okay, I'm going to back up and show you this wood. I changed this since you saw it last. It was too normal. I had the root over here to the far right that's against the glass. I had that down under the substrate down here. And it just looked too normal to me. I was getting tired of it. So I just pulled it up a few days ago and kind of cleaned everything out, pulled all the plants out, pulled any leaves that looked bad off, etc., etc. And it worked beautifully. The flat part's right up against the glass, and the other part is wrapping around. There's a branch on the back side of this rock and the front side holding it in place. And as you can see, a lot of the branches are just swirling around. I just love that. I think it's lovely. Anyway, to the right, we have another 10, what I call normal 10, 20 inches wide, like 10 inches back, 12 inches high. I like this setup as well. This is got some rocks in the back. Java fern on rock right here. Red tiger lily, which is doing beautifully. Before I put the Java fern in, the red lily was over in the corner and not doing that well. I don't know why just moving it over a fraction made such a difference, but I wanted to put that Java fern in because I'm trying to disguise my there it is, my pump in the back. Oh, a new plant right there is guppy grass. I just got this from a local person that grows it in her tanks and sells it because it grows like absolute crazy. Except I made a mistake when I brought it home. I put it in that 75 you saw. And the fish ate it. So I grabbed what little I could, and it went in these tanks. There's a teeny bit in there. Anyway, we've got coconut hut. We've got neon tetras. We do have a, there he is. We do have a betta in here. He's in the back. Okay, some Vallisneria, some. Okay, I'm going to move along because I think I'm running up on. Okay, off to the right here is a 20 long. I'll back up and let you see the whole tank. That is a 20 long. It does not have a betta in it. Used to, it's just too much. It has a wide variety of community fish. We've got red serpentetras, we've got shrimp, we've got longfin zebra danios whooping around in the top back there. We've got, there's one right there, ember tetras. We've got, let's see, of course, coolie loaches, which is one of my favorite cleanup crew. All kind of plants, all kind of wood structure. We've got gobies, bumblebee gobies in here, which I do not see at the moment. Anyway, it's a very pretty tank. Dulcinea over here that's doing very well. Just a variety of small tetras in this tank. Okay, we need to move on. To the far right, we have another little 5-gallon. It's not an Aquarium. This is a backlit top fin tank. I did not care for the backlit, but I got a fantastic deal on it, as in free. Somebody gave it to me. They said the fish were like a silhouette all the time because the light comes from the back. They couldn't see anything. So again, there's a little female betta in there. And bumblebee goby. Well, there's several. There's 6 bumblebee gobies, 1 female betta. The Dulcinea seems to be doing fantastic here. As you can see what it's doing on the top. Going over, we've got some Anubias that I've put. Oh, where's my fingers there? One of my sponge filters in the back. It's got a hang on the back filter